Today's patient is a special one. It's my very first guitar amp. It's a Line 6 Spider 3 75 watt 112 beast with all sorts of DSP fun effects and different channels to play with. It originally broke about 15 years ago and I haven't paid attention to it since, but I've been getting lucky. You hear that little buzzing, ringing in the background? That's all that it's doing. The lights are coming on, but nobody's home. None of the knobs are changing it, so that makes me think there's a power amp issue, so let's dive into that. 15 years ago, I thought it was maybe a DSP issue and had no idea how to check anything else, so I didn't mess with it. But now I mess with a lot of stuff. Let's take a look. This board manages the DSP and sends the different voltage rails through the system, and they can be sent to the power amp to make the big fun noises. More of that amazing glue on all these ribbon cables, which are very sensitive, and there's no way I'm finding another ribbon cable that is just like this one, so I gotta be extra careful. Just make sure when you're pulling up on these that you disperse your force throughout the entire cable so you don't pop anything bad. There's a little tiny input jack board here, so we gotta make sure that comes off as well. The one thing that really got me suspicious that it wasn't a DSP issue is I had felt those small heatsink standoffs, and the one on the far left had gotten extremely hot in that short little audio test. I'm going to check the simple things first, so if I can check for continuity between each of the pins, I'm going to see if there's a short between any of the pins of these transistors. Wait, what was that flash? I think I might be getting something there. I think that one's shorted out. So I started checking each of the components on that line to just see if anything else seemed shorted. And I actually did find a short following most of that line, so it looks like that 5-volt line is shorted to ground, and that's what I'm actually seeing. There's different ways to get these types of transistors off of the board, but one of the easiest is just to clip each of the pins off and then desolder each individual pin since they sink the heat so well. Once you have the body clipped off, you can add some fresh solder underneath, and that'll help the old solder flow a little bit easier, and that'll get those little niblets of pin pulled out a little bit faster and a little bit easier. Some desoldering braid will clean up those through holes so the next component will fit in there real smooth and easy. Saw some posts on a forum about this capacitor here, C20, after I had figured out what was going on. It looks like this one's a common problem for these Spider amps. It fails and then takes down that whole 5-volt line. Boy, it did not want to play nice with me today, though. But once that capacitor out, I rechecked everything to ground, and lo and behold, the short to ground was gone. Booyakasha. That one was definitely the problem, but it caused some other friends to fail too. This sucker was dead short. Totally toasted. I believe this C20 capacitor is a 1000 microfarad 6.3 volt, but I had a 25 volt one sitting in the shop, so I figured let's just upgrade it since there's space for it there. Then hopefully it won't fail in the future. You know, because I care about the longevity of my stuff. Let's get it installed correctly with the right polarity and then soldered into place. Give it a quick little vasectomy. This transistor is an L7805. I use the standoff to help screw it down to get it flush against the board. Get the appropriate bends in the pins. And tack it into place and get rolling. The last problem on the board, other than my shoddy camera work, was the 4.7 ohm resistor that ran between those 2 points. The failure had actually fried it beyond recognition. So I got a chance to bring out my hot air rework station. I didn't have any 5 ohm surface mount resistors, but I did happen to have 2 10 ohm resistors that we could run in parallel. So time to do some sketchy stuff. Doo-da, doo-da. And guess what? Everything seems to ohm out correctly now. Yeah, kinda. I don't actually plan on using this amp again, so it's just for prosperity's sake, so I'll fix that eventually. But for now, let's test to see what our work did for us. It still powers up, which is a good sign. I didn't make anything worse. And it's like Andy's life before Toy Story. No buzz. So you know you gotta throw this sucker into the insane mode and start hitting a few chugs just to make sure it does what it's supposed to do. If you thought this video was useful, go ahead and hit subscribe and check out a few of my other videos. I've almost thrown this amp out multiple times over the last 15 years, so I'm super excited to be able to have it functional again. So good luck to you, and turn on your insane modes and rock on.